The 1971 National Collegiate Ice Hockey Championship game pitted a sound, consistent Boston University team coached by Jack Kelly and led by its top scorer, Steve Sterling, and Dan Brady, a wizard in the nets, against Glenn Sonmore's hustling Minnesota team provided by Ron Peltier, whose overtime goal gave Minnesota a come-from-behind win over Harvard in the semifinals. Mike Antonovich typifies Minnesota's explosiveness, and Dean Blaise has been the big point getter for Minnesota. Neither Boston nor Minnesota have won a national championship, but both have been runners-up twice. Brady gets in front of the hard shot, and Boston starts to bring the puck up ice. Minnesota was determined to hit Boston, even though the risk of a penalty is greater. Ron Anderson controls for Boston. A backhanded shot is blocked by Dennis Erickson, and Antonovich takes Anderson hard into the boards. A Rick Jordan slap shot is deflected, but referee Frank Larson has his hand raised for a penalty. Frank Sanders is whistled off for charging, and Boston has a power play. Danby, from out behind the Minnesota net to Brown, deflected to Sterling, scores. Sterling gets his 26th goal of the year, his first of the tournament, and his third point of the tournament. Again, let's see the power play goal. Sterling will shoot off camera, but you can see that he picked the wide open side of the net, and that Erickson had no chance. Minnesota behind 1-0. Watch this play. Brown, skating over the blue line, takes a wicked shot, and it hits Erickson on the right knee. Erickson has been the key to the Gopher surge ever since he took the nets midway through the season. The Gophers need him. After a few repairs, Erickson returns, but his sore leg has to be a factor. Erickson is tested early. Off the face-off, Sterling fires. A save. Later in the first period, Bob Grip sends it around the boards. Wally Oles and Wayne Gowing battle. Out front to Grip. He scores. Grip picked the wide open side, and Boston has a 2-0 lead. Bruce Carlson to John Harris. Deflected over to Gambucci. A sprawling save by Brady. A slap shot from the blue line, but Brady has the angle out. In slow motion, Antonovich continues the furious action for the Gophers. A wicked slap shot. Another great save by Brady. The horn sounds, and Boston won the first period 2-0. Recapping, Brady, as these three plays show, was outstanding in the Boston net, turning away 13 shots in the first period. Brady and Tim Regan formed a potent 1-2 goalie team. Each allowed only about 2 goals per game. But Coach Jack Kelly decided to go with Brady all the way. Boston came out fast, and Paul Giandomenico had ideas of making it 3-0. But Erickson had the angle. Boston misses another opportunity. Sterling is robbed, and Giandomenico swipes at the puck but misses. Boston has controlled the opening minutes of period 2. Antonovich lets fly at his blue line. Brady, no trouble. Giandomenico, who makes these 2 rushes, has been overshadowed all year by his line mates, Sterling and Cahoon. Now watch a great play. From the point, Sterling blocks a shot and races in on Erickson. Erickson stays with him, but leaves a little of the goal mouth open. That's enough for Sterling and a 3-0 Boston lead. The Gophers did tie Harvard with 9 seconds to go and while a man short. At this point, Gopher fans are wondering if it can happen again. 19 seconds after the goal, Lagarde goes off for high sticking. Short-handed, Boston gets a breakaway. But watch the work of Erickson on Danby. A great stick save. He then scrambles to his feet with a mighty stiff leg from that first period slap shot, and he robs Danby again. Again, Brady, who had 11 saves in the period, frustrates the Gophers. Peltier can't get it in the short side. Again from another angle. The third period begins with Brady working on a shutout, and the Minnesota bench wondering if they could do it one more time. And Boston comfortable, but Jack Kelly worrying about Minnesota's recuperative powers. Minnesota goes on the offense. Antonovich, Blaise, Harris is high and wide. Watch as Boston continues to control the tempo of the play. Great back checking and forechecking. Boston brings the faceoff out of its zone, and watch the trouble Erickson has on Danby's shot outside the blue line. He's having difficulty getting up. Boston refuses to be conservative. Sterling, Cahoon. In the corner, centers, Sterling and Gian Domenico miss pokes at the puck. Antonovich brings it out for Minnesota. Brady gets back into the act and smothers the puck. Another frustrating chapter for Minnesota, but at the same time, great defensive play by Boston and Dan Brady. Brady makes still another save on Sathry's wrist shot. Brady would total 30 saves on the game. With 8:56 left, Minnesota gets a break. As Doug Peltier misses a backhand, Lagarde and Sarner struggle for possession in front of the net. McIntosh's slap shot is stopped by Brady, but Lagarde is called for holding, a call he obviously doesn't agree with. If Minnesota can get on the scoreboard here, the Gophers have a shot to come back. But in slow motion, Boston's penalty killers shut the door on Minnesota. Five seconds after Lagarde's penalty is up, Minnesota scores. McIntosh, Craig Sarner, Doug Peltier lunging, pushes it by Brady. On the replay, Bob Murray just fails to slap Sarner's pass away, and Peltier pushes the puck under Brady's pads. Minnesota has momentum, and after the game, Kelly said that he was worried at this point. He had seen the Minnesota-Harvard game. Ron Peltier sends a weak shot in on Brady. Doug Peltier manages to keep the puck inside the blue line, feeds brother Ron, who tries to set up Sarner out front. Deflected behind the net, Doug Peltier slides it across the goal mouth. Minnesota is swarming. Blaise over the blue line to Antonovich. Stopped by Brady and smothered before Blaise can tip it in. The pass for Sathry is broken up by Brown. Dadaloff at center ice. A 2-1 break for Boston. Ron Anderson on the left wing scores. Erickson left a little of the corner open, and Anderson found it. The Boston fans began the celebration. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. Minnesota needs a miracle. Boston is assured of its first championship, but Minnesota doesn't want to make the last few seconds easy for the Terriers. Dean Blaise, who scored the hat trick in the semifinal game, closes out the scoring with a slap shot that Brady never had a chance on. Jack Kelly gets congratulations from losing coach Glenn Sonmore, and then joins the happy huddle. After the 2 convincing victories by Boston, nobody can dispute the fact that Boston is indeed number 1. Kelly and Captain Steve Sterling display the championship trophy as Sterling flashes a toothless smile. Dan Brady received the Most Valuable Player award for his artistry in the nets. Next year, Boston will attempt to defend its title at the Boston Garden. But for now, it's Boston, Minnesota, Denver, and Harvard as the top four in collegiate hockey.